Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we've got to talk about the box office. Now, of course, I'm live on the road, but that doesn't change anything. The box office must be talked about, and I must do it. And of course, that means you're out there watching it, which I appreciate. So do me a quick favor, since this is a very unedited video, double check you're still subscribed. Click the subscribe button if you're not. If you're here for your first time, your 1,000th time, your subscription is important to me. I am trying to get to 50K. So double check that subscription. Also hit the thumbs up button. It helps a lot. And then leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this weekend's box office. With all of that being said, let's jump right into the numbers. We're not even going to skip through any articles. We're just going to talk about the raw facts of the matter. And the raw facts are this. The numbers is giving us some really specific numbers, letting us know that Spider-Man Brand New Day is retaining the top spot on the chart right now. And look, at $70 million gross for a weekend with only a 51% drop, that is extraordinary. This film, only 17 days in release, is already at $785 million just in domestic numbers alone. And when you look at that in detail globally, we're over $2 billion. That should really be the headline everywhere. Spider-Man Brand New Day, $2 billion. How long has it been since you've seen a $2 billion film? And it's not done yet. We've got another 2, maybe 3 weeks of this film staying at the top of the chart because there's very little to compete with it. And then we're going to have Dune and then Doomsday. And Dune's actually going to go early. We're going to cover that in a different article later this week. But this is just telling you that there is plenty of hunger for the box office as long as it's good. The problem is it just hasn't been good lately. And when we look at the overall box office numbers, like let's say the Odyssey, it still fell off another 27%, but still retained $23 million of that box office. Now, it's a full month in release at 31 days, and at $504 million, it's no slouch domestically. Internationally, globally, whatever you want to call it, it's still doing rather well at $1.2 billion, but it took a very sluggish and long period of time to get there. That's not anything to crow about, but it's not anything to cry about either. I have to say that if these numbers hold up, the Odyssey could end up being a bigger earner than even I anticipated. So congratulations to it and Christopher Nolan. However, what kind of profit does it have? Well, watch last week's video and find out. Just not that very much. Beyond that, we've got The End of Oak Street, which opened with a soft $21 million as far as domestic goes. Now, that's not great, especially releasing in 3,400 theaters across the country. $21 million is, kind of weak, but it's also a horror film, and it wasn't going to have the kind of appeal that, let's say, The Odyssey or Spider-Man Brand New Day was. Now, Spider-Man, definitely nothing is going to compete with that. And then, of course, Paw Patrol can't compete with a kid film. You got $20 million. It almost eclipsed The End of Oak Street, and it may, by the time we get revised numbers Monday afternoon, I think that that's quite possible, at $20.5 million currently domestic. Where that ends up after the weekend, after we get the final numbers Monday, I still think it's within a shot of getting into third place itself. Cat's Eye, Wild Hearts, no idea about this film, never heard of it. May give it a shot, but only 724 theaters. It did well, $3.95 million. Six, the musical Live at $3 million. The Brink of War at $2.6 million. And of course, Toy Story 5 hanging in there with a 45% drop at $2.3 million. Overall, $475 million domestic, another billion-dollar earner globally. And I just have to say that Toy Story as a franchise, despite, the limited setback of 4 and maybe the limited strength of 5, maybe overall isn't quite dead yet at $1.14 billion. It's weird to say that when a film earns that much money, but at a certain point, you can't take Pixar to the bank anymore, and they've had their struggles if you take a look at things like Hoppers and other films from Disney Animation. Now, having recently been at D23, I'll say that there are some challenges there as well. I think Disney's got a lot of problems on the horizon, and they just don't want to talk about them. One Night Only stuck around for a 64% fall in the release numbers at only $2 million. And once we get to number 10, which is Vishwanth and Sons, we have 1.6 million, excuse me. An overall, what is it? An overall 1.6 million in a domestic release for a film like that's not terrible. Your Name comes in later at 1.5 with a total of 6.5. There's an interesting number of days that's been in theaters. It was a re-release, not to mention the fact that you have Minions and Monsters and many other things that are really just disappointing at the theaters this last weekend. So overall, I would say that the big number for the weekend is going to be what happened at the end of it. And with 30 some films in release, 30 films that we have right now in the box office numbers reflected, you still have $160 million in total box office domestic. That's a good number, but it's not the $200 million that we really need during the last of the summer box office, the tentpoles. Now, when we get closer to Christmas time and the holidays, I have a feeling that between Dune and Doomsday, the numbers are going to kick back up into the stratosphere. Don't forget, we have I Am Rocky on the horizon, along with a couple of other films that personally I'm looking forward to, which includes the new Godzilla movie, which I think is going to be amazing. How about you? Let me know your thoughts on the future of the box office the rest of the year, whether or not we're going to set records, whether or not Warner Brothers Discovery will release anything successful going forward. I'm not sure how much is left in the tank for them. I'm not even sure. I think Dune maybe is one of their last films with that particular deal, although I'm not even certain who actually is releasing that film. That's how engaged I am in it right now. I'll probably have to talk to Nerd Cookies about it. But overall, I'm just going to say that with the box office the way we've been seeing it, it's been rather disappointing, and I'm afraid, and of course I am always afraid, that it's not going to recover. Now, there are some films that I think will perform coming up in the next year. There are even some films that I saw at the D23 Expo that I think are going to be successful. The problem is I think there's a lack of trust in Disney right now and across the board. I'm going to say that if the deal for Paramount acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery is further delayed, that literally the industry is just kicking itself because it can, all over politics and for no other reason. There's no other reason to delay that deal other than you don't want to have an additional 30 films in theaters, which is kind of what is guaranteed here. If you get a guarantee that you're going to get more films than you make now, you should sign that guarantee, at least if you're the two theater chains that have been offered it. And that's the other part of the story. If you take the teeth out of the argument, and I talked about this last week, if you saw any of the videos on the subject matter, you're literally eliminating anything Rob Bonta and the other politically driven attorneys general have anything to say about. I do believe that cinemas are better off for more releases, but hey, what do you think? Also, do you think 160 million for this last weekend was good enough for the exhibitors, or do you think they would appreciate more? And finally, do you think Spider-Man Brand New Day has another 2 weeks full run in it to somehow eclipse $2.5 billion, which I actually believe is possible because it'll be released globally, fully, and, well, in places where they really appreciate a Spider-Man film. But let me know what you think down in the comments section below. As always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, we'll see ya with probably a better edited video.